This is Josiah Plays Tyranny. Okay. We're back. We've just arrived back in Ascension Hall. I'm going to just check and see if there's anything new going on here. I doubt there is. Nope. Okay, wait. Anything new when I ask this? I don't think she said this before, did she? Bringing some order to the well has given us the opportunity to regroup and consider our priorities. When you get right down to it, our collective is only as old as the second year of Kairos' invasions. Yeah, she did say this before. I already read this. Already read it. Cooperation will make the tears strong again. I have hope. Make the tears great again. There we are. Honestly, the only reason I have a paper calendar is because somebody bought it for me, anonymous. Normally I wouldn't. Our way of life is oh wait, that's the wrong voice. Our way of life is depending on that hope. We broke the siege, but we can't take back the realm without a unified front against Kairos. Yeah, I get it. So I gotta get the beast men, or the beast women, or the beast people, the beast persons, whatever. I gotta get the beast men, because they would make a great ally. I gotta get the remains of the scholars from the burning library, right? I gotta get the Bronze Brotherhood, obviously. I gotta get the remains of the Unbroken, the Defenders of Stalwart. So that's at least 4 groups that I know of that I think I need to go recruit. I can't think of any others. But I suppose if I get all of them, we'd be sitting pretty with all of those groups plus the Vendrian Guard. And then after we gather all of them together, Kairos just goes lol edict and blows us all to hell. So, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking one of the things you're going to learn by going into the old walls and taking over all the spires, you're going to learn how to counter his edict somehow. Because if you could counter his edicts, that's the only realistic way you could actually defy Kairos and be like, no, get the fuck out of here, we're going to be free. Because otherwise, it doesn't matter what armies you gather. Again, he's just going to edict your shit down. So only by learning how to count... That's my thinking. That's my guess, my theory about how the game is going to go. You're going to have to learn how to counter the edicts using some sort of other magic. You know what I'm saying? Tears for Seers? Nice, Saito. Alright. Let's go upstairs. This person here, Stratos. Anything I need to buy right now? No, we already been through that. Breaker, bronze, falcon, shield, heavy thing, this thing, that thing, another thing. Gonna sell all of that. Alright, let's go upstairs. I'm on top of the spire. I'm on top of the spire. I'm on top. I'm on top. I'm on top of the spire. You learn the objection counter spell. Phoenix Wright, Archon of, well, Law, I guess. Oh, we've got Beast. Oh, that's her. It's Kills in Shadow. I'm like, we have random beast men hanging out in our spire. Yeah, of course, we have Kills in Shadow. Alright. I don't know if there's going to be any trainers. Like, how close am I? Oh, I got quite a ways to go. I probably don't, like, need to desperately train right now. I really, really want to train all 3 of them in lore, and nothing else. Verse is already trained this level. Oh wait, no, she's leveled up, I think, since we... Well, let's come over here to the trainer and find out. Swordbreaker. What's up, Green Lantern? Okay, so nobody's trained this level. So she's gonna train her dodge up some more. Which is beautiful. And as far as I know, Anonymous, yes. The Worgen, or the beast people, and the humans seem to be the only two races that exist that have been mentioned in any way. At least in the area of the tiers. You know, the whole world is pretty big. It might have other species, but the only sentient species that have been mentioned in any way have been the beastmen and the humans. Which I kind of find refreshing. I'm glad there's not elves. You know, the standard typical things it's in every single fantasy game. Elves and dwarves and gnomes, halflings, whatever, you know. Alright, so... have you made me anything lately? Oh, I don't remember what kind of voices I did for people here. Sure do. Come right here and I'll show you. Oh my god! He's got all this stuff for me for free. What? I might leave the camping supplies. Wow. Look at all the stuff he's got for me. Oh, it all went right to the stash. Okay, hold on. Nobody's gonna use that. Nobody's gonna use that. Look how much it's worth. It's worth a lot. No, we're gonna sell that. We're gonna sell that. You miss playing a dwarf? I very rarely end up playing a dwarf. In, at least in computer RPGs. I've played a dwarf a few times in pen and paper tabletop RPGs. I already know that one. Some good stuff, but I don't really want to spend... Of course, this stuff is really cheap. These Superior Fatebinder of Tunon gear pieces are actually really inexpensive. Okay, hold on. We'll come back to that guy. Oh, I can rest here without using camping supplies. I just have to use this little bedroll right here. Although it seems completely asinine that I would be sleeping up here in the open air on top of the spire instead of down below in the fucking castle. But, whatever. Guess I would like to rest. That'll give me my +5 to all skills bonus. Oh, now here's why this is better than Cadnua. Every spire you get and every upgrade you build on the spires gives you a different resting bonus. And when you rest on any spire, you get all the resting bonuses for all the spires, unlike just having to pick one in Cadnua. So that means once you have all the spires, the resting bonus is actually fucking huge, because you get, like, tons of awesome bonuses. Corpse Eye, I like Corpse Eye. Mudstains add character. Come now, take a gander. What'll it be, boss? Let's see what's in stock. It's a hell of a bow. These guys have a lot of stuff for sale. Oh, to see if he found anything else during the 8 hours while I was... No, he's just got... But there's another guy that'll give me free stuff that I haven't talked to yet. This guy is... Oh yeah, this guy... Oh, there's 2 guys that'll give me free... There's 3 guys that'll give me free stuff. The reason I hired these dudes. Hey, Intoxic13, how you doing? Yeah, I'm saving that point. She's got 1 stat point, and I want to put it into a thing that it costs 2 points now, so I have to save that point. Oh, I get it. That's why there was so much stuff. This is the container that contains the stuff from all the giving you stuff, guys. Watch, when I go to him, it'll be the same. Okay, it's shared. It's one shared container for all... So that's the reason why there were so many items in there, is because that was the items from all 3 of those NPCs. Glad to hear it, Intoxic. It would be super creepy if he presents you with something you had equipped when you went to sleep. Here you go! I got you these gloves! Those are my gloves. Alright, we're gonna leave the camping supplies there. Alright, so we have a lot of talking we need to do with people. A lot of talking. A lot. Now we've got our arrest bonuses. Now, I could train my other characters. I really want to train them in lore, but I don't know where to find a lore trainer. And I don't want to waste my training before I level up. Now, good news is none of us are very close to leveling up. But I could train her in Control Life instead. I could train her in Control Gravelight. I could train her in... Well, she doesn't really want to use any of these. Man, I need more trainers. There could still be some trainers in the rest of Lethian's Crossing that I haven't been to. I don't know. So for now, I'm not gonna... Oh, look how cool this place looks. I like how this looks different at night. And it does look different at night. Well, I guess it's just a different color filter over it or something, but whatever. I have no idea if there's a limit to the amount of stuff. I doubt it, though, because just like there was a chest in Pillars of Eternity that was exactly the same way in your stronghold there, and there was no limit. I would not go back to the stronghold for long periods of time, and when I'd go back, it would be full of tons of shit. So, I think it'll be... I don't think there'll be a limit that I have to worry about. Yeah, the handouts might accumulate with advancement of plot. That's kind of how I think it happened in Pillars of Eternity. Every time you advanced a quest, time would pass as far as the stronghold stuff was concerned. But it might just be experience gain as well, Anonymous. Does he have any new rumors for me? What tips and rumors do you have for me? Nope, he doesn't have any more new rumors. Okay. So, we need to talk to everybody. Now that she's got a lore skill of 60... Give me a second here. Can she... She can. She can Frostfire this. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm saving her 1 point to put into making her wits 20. For my second playthrough, I'm going to put 18 finesse and 18 might, and everything else will be 8. And then I'll go all in on I might do two-handed weapons, or I might just do one-hander and shield. Probably do one-hander and shield now that I think about it. Wow, my main character has 72 dodge. That's impressive. 125, that's what I'm talking about. These other two have terrible defenses. Fucking terrible. That subterfuge, though. Alright, let's talk to some people. First things first, if I talk to Barry right now...
My Lord Binder, what can I do for you?
And I want to talk to him about... Ah, I can ask him about the other two companions, even though he's not in the party. Sweet. What do you think of Siren, or Siren? She is complicated and volatile even by an Archon's standards. Kairos took a significant risk by inviting Siren into the hierarchy. It would have been simpler to kill her than risk unleashing her power upon Tyranny. Oh dude, I got so much fear with Barrick. Yet I am glad that Siren is with us. She brings innocence and dignity to a conflict that too often lacks either quality. I don't think she brings innocence. Just because she's 15 doesn't mean she's innocent. She seems very uninnocent to me. I mean, maybe innocent in some respects, you know, I don't know. But in general, she's kind of just as much of a sociopath as the rest of us. What do you think of Kills in Shadow?
Do speak, Ironclad. Tell to Beast Woman each and every thought hidden behind Iron Shadow. Say words that will surely incite Beast Woman to violence.
Kills in Shadow ain't having it. So we've just proven another interesting point, and that's why I came back here to the Spire to talk to people. They will interject in conversation even if they're not in your party. If they're actually here, that's great. So this is the place to talk to party members. Well, she'd also killed people with the use of her voice power when she was just a little girl. Even before she was snapped up by the Scarlet Chorus and had that helmet thing put on her head. She killed a bunch of people. It was in the short story they wrote about her. I mean, admittedly, she did it out of innocence at the time. She was just a little girl and she was scared and she didn't know what she was doing. But still, she already had blood on her hands before she even had blood coming out of her. That was a little bit indelicate. I could have maybe phrased that differently. Calm down, Kills. Go on, Barrick. Tell Kills in Shadow. Go on, Barrick. Tell Kills in Shadow what you think of her. A fascinating specimen, to be sure. Though I am loath to tolerate beastmen serving under the banner of Kairos, even I must admit that her strength and tenacity have inspired me. Really? Because she kind of just got here and hasn't done anything with the party yet, but okay. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I do not think that she would hesitate to hunt you for sport if the whim appealed to her. Be warned. Let us speak of something else. Okay, I just went back to an old conversation node that I'd already been through with Barrick about beastmen. And I went through it again. And now she interjects in it. That's so fucking awesome. Because she's here now.
Can carry heavier weight than even ironclads. But only stone whelps, weakest tribe, would enslave selves to humans to survive.
Enough about the tears. What are your thoughts on me and my deeds? Okay, no, we've already heard that. We've already read this as well. Oh well. All right, so we've talked. We're up to date with Barrick. I mean, honestly, if I went through every note of dialogue with every companion, now that they're all here, who knows how many new interjections there would be. But I don't know that I'm willing to do that. Let's go talk to Lantry. Why can't I talk to Lantry? Lantry. Why can't I talk to you?
Sorry, I can't.
One moment, my friend. Just let me finish this thought.
Apparently I can. The Archon of Sixth Sense? Nice, nice. Let's discuss current matters.
Of course. How can I help?
Know anything about the region we're in?
The spires predate us all.
Oh, no, we've heard this.
How can I help? All kinds of things. My mind is old. Memory's a sieve.
Cyto, Anonymous, Nox, were you guys all here when we tried the ink and got the drug-induced rant dialogue options? Because they were amazing. If there's anybody that wasn't here when we tried Lantry's fucking Cerulean ink and got those dialogue options, let me know, because I will go back and do it again, because it was fucking hilarious.
Of course. How can I help?
What are your thoughts on our traveling associates?
Are you asking for an objective assessment? Or is this your way of saying you want to gossip?
What do you think of traveling with Siren?
As a chronicler of history, I am most honored to have the chance to travel alongside a luminary. I can write down her speech word for word, letter for letter, and proclaim it back, but yet the words lack her charm. This supports my hypothesis that her power manifests by the actual sound of her voice, and less of the particulars the words chosen. Fascinating.
So, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying my words have no weight or significance, and it's simply my magic that makes me powerful. I've got a song for you, Lantry. Do you want to hear it?
Siren's not amused.
What? It's high praise.
I think I need to go through all of these companion, what do you think? Because now that everybody's here, a lot of interjections could happen.
You must have some leverage over him, as I would have thought he'd lead us. I must admit, I am completely fascinated. A most fascinating. We should consider ourselves lucky to have her on our side. Good tidecasters stay underwater. Kyra...
I like that I make you this agitated. Considering all the things that don't seem to bother you in the slightest. I'm not gonna lie.
We've heard this before.
Oh. And then there's your coquettish act whenever someone calls you on your teeth. I'll be the one ready to tangle when, not if, you decide to pounce.
I'd like to watch Lantry and Ab fight. That sounds intriguing. What's your read on kills in Shadow?
Aggressive, homicidal, and best kept on a long leash with a longer whip. I'm a poor judge of beasts. I've known so few, and none resemble the scribes and scholars to which I'm accustomed. But there's a blunt honesty to her that I rather enjoy. She wants to bask in your power and makes no excuses for the self-interested nature of her loyalty to you. Such refreshing transparency is rare in humans. I am nothing if not a semi-reliable font of knowledge. Well, you might want to ask a more soldierly type about the armies, but do you want to talk about the Archons or other mages?
I wanted to ask about the Archons. Have I not been through all of these options before? I might have missed a whole section in Lantry's talk. I know much of such luminaries, though I am careful with my words, but ask if you must. Tell me about Graven Ash, Archon of War.
Ash has served with Kairos for a mere century, but he has been a reliable general and level-headed warlord. Certainly when compared to some of the more bloodthirsty Archons to serve under Kairos. I'm not saying the disfavored are merciful. I'm just saying I've read the stories of the Archon of Blood and know it could be worse.
The Archon of Blood sounds badass.
I know Graven Ash can defend his soldiers from far away. Ash's Aegis is the term us Arcanophiles have taken to calling it. Not surprisingly, Graven Ash is beloved by his troops. I mean, if Tunon could mystically protect you from cudgels and sharp sticks from leagues away, you'd like him more.
You got a point. Arcanophiles. He's got a name for Archon fanboys. Tell me about the Voices of Nerat, Archon of Secrets. Voices of Nerat is one of Kairos' most dangerous and unpredictable servants. He can pull memories, whole personalities if you believe some reports, from his victims, and over time, this has created a single Archon with the knowledge of countless lifetimes. He and I were in written contact as part of the taking of the Vellum Citadel. Though I exchanged very few words with him, it was readily apparent that the Voices of Nerat doesn't see people, he sees uses. What do you know of Tunan, Archon of Justice? First, I suppose I should ask what you know of him. He is true to his core mission. He is fair and just. Fair and just by your measure, that is. Tunan, Archon of Justice, exists in texts spanning back hundreds of years. I can't say I know how he came to be the Overlord's adjudicator. Maybe you know that one. Actually, I do, because I asked Tunan about it and he told me the whole story. But he oversaw the conquest of the Tundra Sovereigns, and they bowed to Kairos in the year 83. Know anything about Bledin Mark, Archon of Shadows, beside the fact that he is the edgelord of all edgelords? Very little. His name is not printed in many texts. I know that he is sworn to Tunan and acts as his assassin. I know that he goes back a long ways, though. I've long assumed he's served Kairos about as long as Tunan, give or take. What is Siren, Archon of Song, who's standing about 6 feet behind me?
Not the youngest Archon in history, but certainly one of the younger, and history has yet to write much about her. And if I happen to be the first to write about her, well, that will look nice for my legacy.
My life isn't a performance for your amusement, Sage. If you want to write about something, make your own miracles.
Don't badger the young lady with too many questions.
Oh, well, I wouldn't. I mean, perhaps we'll talk in detail when things are less hectic.
Things are not hectic at all. All you're doing is standing around on top of a spire for days and weeks and months while I go around an adventure.
If I see you anywhere near me, Sage, if I so much as hear a single scratch of your quill on paper, I will give you something quite vivid to write about. If your hands survive it, that is.
She's a little bit of an edgelord herself, actually.
Yes, Mistress Siren. Understood.
His right hand, once moving in a flurry of dictation, comes to sudden halt. Did you know Can, Archon of Stone? Of him I know very little. I believe he was the wild man of the hills that Graven Ash subdued in 402. But only one source suggests that link. He was famous for being, well, a big sour jerk. Seems he let his mouth run off about Kairos, and that was the end of his story. Let's speak of something else. I have some questions for you.
I am nothing if not a semi-reliable font of knowledge. What did you want to discuss?
I have questions about our allies and enemies.
Well, you might want to ask a more soldierly type about the armies, but do you want to talk about the Archons or other mages?
What do you know of the mage guilds? More than I will readily admit. Which guild? What do you know of the Earthshakers? It takes a strange bird to wish to emulate Cairn, Archon of Stone. But what do I know? A whole cult sprung up to worship the man. This cult became known as the Earthshakers Guild, and even their weak imitations of his magic can fill the land with tremors. As soon as I leave the tower, it's the wildest party of the tears up in here. I can believe it. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I don't know, Nox. Maybe. Maybe. Cairn answered to Graven Ash, meaning the Earthshakers are military allies of the disfavored, At least that is how it was. Cairn's treachery demanded retribution from Kairos, and this has destroyed the reputation of the Earthshaker Guild. Many assume a traitorous teacher would breed traitorous disciples. Makes sense, birds of a feather and all that. Tell me about the Forgebound. The Forgebound are a guild from the Northern Empire. Their magic is a bit different from the sigils you or I know. They study a slower, more rigid style of magic that they use to become one with their forging tools. The Forgebound know the secret of turning grey rock into fine iron, and none have yet replicated this feat of craftsmanship. What they do is truly unique, and they teach their craft by practice and lecture. Little of it is written down. What of the Blood Chanters? The Blood Chanters are a motley. To call them a proper guild insults all other traditions. Most of their number were members of the School of Wild Wrath, but they sold their loyalty to the Voices of Nerat. The Blood Chanters Guild, the personal mage cabal of the Voices of Nerat, Archon of Secrets, are not a storied institution, but rather a very recent organization. Founded just prior to the conquest, the Blood Chanters draw their magic from the Sigil of Siren, Archon of Song, from which they draw their spells of passion, fear, frenzy, and other emotional manipulations, and from the fire magic of Thousand Embers, Archon of Fire, as practiced by the now-defunct School of Wild Wrath. You know, I just thought about that. That's really weird. Verse in my group has a spell. We have the Sigil of Emotions, which is drawn from Siren. So we have one person in our party member casting spells drawn upon the power of another person in my party. I mean, how does that work? They brought with them their fire magic, adopted from the long-dead Thousand Embers, Archon of Fire. Oh. One of the most influential but briefly lived Archons born in the tiers. Thousand Embers, 26 TR to 73 TR, Archon of Fire, had a knack for making things combust, and strong motivation to assist his fellow man. A fact of great relief to most, as none of the local lords could pay their soldiers enough to apprehend him had he cared to use his powers for extortion or destruction. Obsessed more with writing, he penned a number of exploring Enter Fire, the human drive to eat, reproduce, and destroy, containing a great deal of introspection on his own use of fire. When he disappeared in 73 TR, it took all of 3 years for a cabal of mages to appear, claiming to be the true inheritors of his power. This school of Wild Wrath had a rough understanding of Thousand Embers' command of fire, but rough was enough. Fire is not a medium that calls for finesse. While the School of Wild Wrath have long told the story that Thousand Embers is literally living as a Thousand Embers, waiting to reconstruct himself when the time is right, a few of the Fatebinders who work very closely with Bled and Mark happen to know the Archon of Shadows made the rare gesture of inviting him 3 times to join with Kairos before offering an ultimatum ending in, or die. Ah, so basically Bled and Mark killed Thousand Embers. You should have 100% magic Wi-Fi from being that close. Guess it's of little surprise that fire mages would find a welcome home in the chorus. But fire is now but one of their tricks. Their real trick is their magic of passion, frenzy, and fear. Such magic is based on the Sigil of Siren, Archon of Song.
Worthless peasants who use borrowed power to expand the realm of an undeserving monster. I won't be happy until the whole group is obliterated.
Are there other guilds in the tiers? The big 3, Ink, Tried, and Wrath, pushed out most of the other schools ages ago. History makes note of the Cutters, the School of Flowering Winter, and a few others that did not survive the little wars our schools would wage. But I know little of these footnote schools. Yeah, they sound kind of emo. Let's speak of something else.
Well, you might want to ask a more soldierly type about
Let's
the
speak of
armies.
something else.
I am nothing if not a semi-reliable font. What would you like to know?
I feel like there's a whole other section here that I missed as well. How did I miss all of these sections?
And I'd be happy to oblige. Ever since the fall of...
See? I thought if I asked about this Archon stuff that Siren might interject, and she does. I mean, I've already read this, but... Then he's truly lucky. I can't remember a moment when I wasn't plagued by this power. Really? Fascinating. So in some, it really is a lifelong quality. Well, if it were easy to make sense of these things, it wouldn't be academic. Are all icons liable to Kairos? We've seen that before. We've seen that before. How does the magic of Archons work? Okay, let's speak of something else.
And I'd be happy to oblige. Ever since the fall of the Vellum Citadel, it is hard. I am nothing if not... I am nothing if not... What would you like to know?
What can you tell me of the School of Ink and Quill? What's the core philosophy of the School of Ink and Quill?
The sages are archivists, academicians, and arcanists. Our mission is to preserve the knowledge of today for the good of tomorrow. Though we are known for our magic, few realize that most sages concern themselves with scribal work. Only a select few have the talent or focus to work the sigils. Each sage benefited from the scrolls of learning that came before him, and so each sage must repay this boon by gathering, authoring, or translating new texts to the stacks.
Welcome back, Saito.
But all that's a bit generous. It's no secret that the sages were far more happy to add knowledge than to share it.
Why did the sages resist Kairos?
Why, indeed. As historians, it is our place to document, not direct. Let others rage and resist. Ours is the duty to record. The decision to defy Kairos was not unanimous, nor one decided upon lightly. The laws of Kairos would forbid much of the knowledge contained in the Vellum Citadel. The elder sages feared, rightly perhaps, that the Overlord would put an end to our tradition of stockpiling knowledge. The Battle of the Vellum Citadel was a battle to preserve knowledge, but our actions will be remembered as treason against the will of Kairos.
Tell me a bit about the school's history.
The sages trace their days to a generation after 5 Wives, when the first settlers moved west. The Vellum Citadel began as a scholastic retreat, slowly blossoming into the finest library in the continent across the generations.
What are these 5 Wives? The 5 Wives is the name for both the historic landfall of seafaring human settlers on the Tiers, as well as the name for the archipelago where the first, now largely abandoned, settlements were founded. In centuries past, the historic event was known more properly as the 5 Wives and the 7 Husbands, for as the story goes, 7 ships made landfall, and after 2 seasons of difficult living, the 7 husbands got back on their boats and see what else was nearby, and all perished. Many suggest this is just a parable used to explain the gender roles of landownership and admiralty in the Tiers, but the nobility take the origin story quite seriously, and nearly every noble house in the Tiers has a family mythology linking them back to these 5 fabled matriarchs. Cool. History of the Tiers.
The centuries fly by, and suddenly, the Vellum Citadel is the definitive archive in the Tiers. The sages branched out into carrying missives for wealthy clients, training noble children to read. The peasants may have feared us, but we remained useful enough to the kings and queens of the Tiers to avoid war. When Kairos came to the Tiers, that's when our hubris came back to haunt us. The elder sages, the Other elder sages, not I, believed our spellcraft was enough to ward off any siege. Well, we know how that turned out.
You know, those sages must be kind of dumb. Or, I mean, not really dumb, but they must have been kind of ignorant about edicts and how edicts work. And how could they have been, since all these edicts have happened, and they've studied the history, and it's been happening for hundreds of years? How did they actually think they could stand up against an edict? If they're the ones that know the most about magic in the land, they should have known better. Oh well, hubris. That's what he just said, hubris. What sort of sigils do the sages practice?
Traditionally, we use magic only so that we may observe and archive. So that means magic of concealment and protection.
Wait, I think I've heard this.
But, in truth, we have amassed a great wealth of knowledge. Before the Vellum Citadel fell, any given subject of magic had at least one sage practicing it.
So you're admitting you had at least one agent of yours studying the magic of the Tidecasters?
Well, I mean, if such information had fallen into our hands generations ago, we'd be fools not to...
Not to suckle off that ill-gotten teat of knowledge? Filthy word whores of the worst degree. The Edict of Fire wasn't half of what you deserved.
Damn! Ebb and Lantry have some serious issues between them. They have said some mean-ass shit about each other, or to each other. I feel the sexual tension between Ebb and Lantry. It's strong. You two just need to work this out already. Stow your complaints. I can see this conversation going to very constructive places. So I can piss off Ebb, I can piss off Lantry, or I can just be neutral about it. Filthy word whores. Yeah, it's like... That reminds me of that song Word Crimes by Weird Al Yankovic, which is a great song. It's so funny. No, again, Seraphina is a diplomat. She's going to do the diplomatic thing here. I can see this conversation going to very constructive places. Both of you drop it.
What would you like to know?
So, Saito, what I discovered when I came back here just recently is that now that I've got everybody here on the Spire together, that if I go through old dialogue nodes with my companions, other people that weren't here before, even if they're not in the party, will interject. So I'm finding all kinds of new interjections from the other party members, even ones that aren't even in my group. Now that I have all the people here in one. Like I asked Barrick about the Beastmen, and Kills in Shadow interjected, and so on and so forth. I'm not going through every single old dialogue ones, but I'm going through ones that I think might be relevant. Like when I asked Lantry about Archons, I'd already been through that before with them, but now when I asked him about Archons, of course, Siren had stuff to say. Because she's an Archon. Let's speak of something else. That's all for now. And also, they interject a lot on the, what do you think of that
My
person?
Lord Binder, what can I do for you? Good. Let's move on to another matter.
We've already been through this, okay. I'm surprised Ab doesn't respond to this in any way. Where Barrick is admitting to having a thing for Ab. He must be saying this quietly, so she can't hear. Alright. Let's talk to... Man, we have a lot of talking to do. We are going to be here for days, Saito. We are. Because I still haven't touched Eb's dialogue, Kills and Shadows dialogue, or Siren's dialogue. Holy crap. Alright, let's talk to Verse.
At your service, Fatebinder.
Alright, Verse likes
What
me.
do you need? If you insist. What? Until then, I plan to take whatever I can from life and have a little fun.
Oh, this is a new interjection. I thought maybe Barrick might say something. She's talking... Oh, this is new, actually. She didn't say this before. When I asked her about her parents. This is a whole new line right here. Of course, we're all up to date on that little scandal, aren't we? Barrick's horrormonger of a father likes to plant his seed in soil far from home. And who can blame him?
If you would not speak well of him, then I beg you say nothing at all.
What did you have in mind?
What do you think of Barrick? You mean my stinking brother in the iron suit? Her nose wrinkles with disgust. He's... well, I'll give him some due credit. He's more complicated than he looks. He's still an intolerant and unapologetic bastard, but that's more his business than mine. Barry and the Little Red Riding Hood, 2 tanks, neither can equip armor, brilliant itemization decision. Little Red Riding Hood? Are you talking about Kills in Shadow? I don't know if she's intended to be a tank or not. That might be one of her 2 trees. I haven't actually looked at her talents at all. What do you think of Ebb? What do you think of Siren? Take this in the spirit in which it's intended. If I had her kind of power at that age, the last thing I would do is take orders from you. You may think you're leading her around, but it might be the opposite. Would any of us even know the difference? All I need to know about Siren is that she scares Kairos. That pretty much says it all. What do you think of Kills in Shadow? I've been watching her fight. Wait a minute, stop. When have you been watching her fight? She just got here to the Spire. Who was she fighting? She's fierce in a way that the Scarlet Chorus could use to our advantage. We've tried to conscript beastmen in the past, but the results have been less than successful. In truth, the results have been ugly. It's tough to capture something that a net won't hold. As often as not, we either have to talk her kind into conscripting, or murder enough of them that only the weak are left. Yeah, well, alright, so I think we're up to speed on all of the old companions. Now I have to have extended, lengthy conversations to tour the head off a trainer who bumped into her. Extended, lengthy conversations with Ebb, Siren, and Kills. I do kind of want to look at Kills' talent trees. The beast woman squats on her haunches, back bowed and face tilted forward as she meticulously grooms between the long, callous fingers of one paw. A mauve tongue laves blood from her glistening claws. She glances up, a jerky, startled movement at your approach, but there's no fear in her, only reaction, instinct, only a readiness to strike.
Fatebinder wants Beast Woman?
The reek of an unwashed feral animal, bloodied and battle-worn, swathes you like a wet blanket, and you breathe through your mouth to keep from retching. Okay, so she's stinky, just like Barrick. Man, I could take her in my party and Barrick. Who would be the 3rd stinkiest person? In fact, I remember asking this. I asked this question during one of the developer streams, and I didn't get an answer. Who's the 3rd stinkiest person? If I had Kills in Shadow and Barrick, I guess it must be Verse, right? Because it's not going to be Lantry. He's fastidious. He would keep himself clean. It's not going to be Ebb. She's a fucking water maid. She'd keep herself clean. It's not going to be Siren. she's all finely dressed, and I'm sure she bathes a lot and everything, keeps herself clean. So it's got to be Verse. Verse has got to be the one with the next worst hygiene. Yeah, the Stink Team. I know, right? And that would be an all-melee group, too. That would be a fun playthrough. No magic at all. Well, besides the couple spells each person could have to fuck around. But you could have the all-melee team with Verse, Barrack, Kills in Shadow, and your main character could be melee as well. The Stink Team. Oh yeah, the drug inks. Sato, you weren't here when I did the drug ink from Lantry the other day, were you? And saw the drug-induced rant dialogue options? Because they were fucking great. Anyway, hold on. Never mind. I'm gonna quick save. I just want to add her to my party real quick for just a second. Kills in Shadow flicks an ear at your approach. She continues grooming her pelt, long gray fingers brushing through the coarse hair, picking at mange and mats, mud and blood, so she's kind of gross.
Fatebinder wants Beast Woman?
It's time to hunt. Come with me, Kills in Shadow.
I'm ready. Wants to hunt stock prowl, wants to kill, and howl for alpha.
She lopes forward, lips parted, tongue lolling between her discolored fangs, eager. Alright, for a minute we're going to get rid of Siren and we're going to take kills. Just so I can check her out. So let's see what she's got. She's got... Man, for being a big, strong beast woman, her might is crappy. Her kind of everything is crappy. Even her vitality is not exactly fucking blowing me away. 14, of course, she does have 6 points to spend. What's she good at? Unarmed combat, okay. And one-handed weapons. Her dodge is kind of shitty. She's good at subterfuge, though. Her unarmed combat damage is pretty high. All she can wear is accessories. She's kind of a beast. She's got 216 health, and that's without putting any points into vitality. What can she do? What's her base abilities? Leaping Death requires stealth, so she's more of a rogue. I mean, I remember they talked about this during the dev stream, that she's got a lot of stuff that deals with attacking from stealth. That seems like a thing that's very situational, though. It's very hard to sneak up on anybody in this game. And even if you do, you can only sneak up on them once. And that's if it's not one of those fights, which half the fights in the game are, where they spawn dudes around you and they just attack you. Or you get attacked out of a dialogue or something, where you wouldn't be able to use stealth. Unless she has an ability in her talent tree that lets her stealth in combat. Now, if she has that, that would be badass. Koinami Socks, how you doing? What's going on, Koinami Socks? There really are no waifus in this game. Because there's no real romance plots or anything. Anyway, Leaping Death. From stealth, pounce on a nearby enemy, damaging all enemies in the area as well as knocking them prone. Wow. That's pretty cool. Teleport and ranged. Oh, I see. Because you can't really sneak up close enough without getting caught. But she would only need to sneak up close enough for them to be within this big ring here. Stampede. Uh-oh. She's got a cow ability. She's got a cow ability, Nox. She's got Stampede. Kills in Shadow and the Fatebinder both instantly dash to a target and attack. The Fatebinder's attack stuns the target and any enemies nearby, while Kills in Shadow inflicts a powerful bleed effect. Oh, this sounds cool. Too bad I can't test it out.
Beast Woman cannot do as Alpha wants.
Been set. Stampede. Leaping Death. Alright, let's look at her talents. Ravager and Titan. Titan's probably if you want to make her a tank. Sunder armor. Attacks from stealth. Wow, a heal over time effect that lasts until combat ends. Weapon damage. Kills in Shadow uses two-handed weapons as one-handed. Holy crap. That's badass. So she really can dual-wield two-handers. Attack cone with a weapon. Permanent health bonus and reduction to crush damage. Oh, she could have a grip of health. Okay. As her health reduces, her damage and attack speed are increased. Trample foes in the path. Damage bonus while has wounds. Damage bonus on prone targets. More engage enemies. Yeah, so that's tanky. Untamed Might is nice. Berserker Rage. Plus 50% melee damage. That's beast. Dude, you could make a serious damage dealer out of this woman. Blood Spike. Increases damage with each hit. Trample. Bonus accuracy with disengagement. Okay. Or she's got Roar Cone. Attack twice with normal weapons when low on health. When below 70. Improves unarmed damage. Improves unarmed damage. Improves unarmed damage. Okay, so you could make her unarmed damage pretty fucking sick if you wanted to. Bonus to experience with subterfuge and unarmed. Armor penetration to unarmed attacks. And more of that. Oh, she's gonna be fun. On my second playthrough, I'm gonna use her and she's gonna be fun. Double her reach with unarmed. Bonus to subterfuge. While stealth. Oh, so that's an automatic crit right there. 100% hit precision means that's an auto crit while stealthed, which is pretty badass. Oh man, extra critical damage multiplier on Leaping Death. Combined with that auto crit right there, it means Leaping Death is going to completely fucking wreck somebody. Beastman Hide. Yeah, she's got some cool shit. She's got some cool shit. Alright. I like Kills in Shadow. He has a bronze war mace for some reason. That she uses in one fucking hand. Alright, she can get out of the party now though because Siren's just radiating power.
Good day, Fatebinder. It's always nice to see you.
Oh, she likes us now. Siren smiles and blushes at her words. I'd like you to come with me, Siren.
Well then, let's go. If you're gonna teach me the wonders of the world, it's not gonna happen here.
Alright, cool. So, in our next episode, we will begin talking with Ebb, Siren, and Kills in Shadow and going through their dialogues, which will take a long time, but I don't care. I'm going to do it. I was trying to space them out with adventure in the beginning, you know. I only did one at a time, but now that we have a home base, it seems appropriate to stay here and actually do it. So I'm going to do it, even though it's going to take a long time.
Chew my leg off. Will do.
So, that's going to happen in our next episode. That's it for this one. If you're watching the stream, I am not stopping. I'm going to keep on playing after a very short break. But if you're watching on YouTube, this episode is now over. Thanks for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Tyranny.